welcome to take pictures. Go ahead and get your cameras ready. I do recommend turning off the flash. It will look a lot cooler that way. And I will let you know it's a little loud, so some of you may wish to cover your ears. And it's going to look even better in the dark. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. So before you came here today, had you heard of Nikola Tesla before?
Yep.
Yes, a little bit. Not a whole lot there, right? Which is really unfortunate. He's one of our forgotten geniuses. But Tesla's inventions still touch your life every day. He had over 250 patents to his name before he died in 1943. The sad thing is we can't really have an accurate count of how much of our daily life we really should thank Tesla for. Because he was all about the ideas, less about the paperwork. Sometimes he wouldn't file for a patent or wouldn't get it turned in on time. Or if he did have a patent and he had a friend who was in a tight spot, he'd just give it to him. So it's really difficult to actually just count how many inventions he actually should have gotten the credit for. But out of everything that he worked on, the Tesla coil was his favorite. So why? Well, this was a really big deal at the time. This is an electricity transmitter. So if you think about it, in the early 1900s, electricity was brand new. People were first starting to trust it and get it in their homes. But there was a couple of problems. The copper wires that conducted the electricity were very inefficient. It could actually only travel for about a mile from the power plant before it wasn't even worth having in your home. So you had to live in a really, really big city and live close by to that power plant. So that narrows down the number of people who can have in their homes already. Now the other problem is, since it was so inefficient and since it was so brand new, it was very, very expensive. So that narrows the pool even more. And Tesla didn't think that was fair. He thought this miraculous new electricity should make everybody's lives better. He wanted to make it free. But he at least wanted it to be more efficient and less expensive. So he thought, let's get rid of the middleman. Let's get rid of all those copper wires and make it wireless. So imagine that. Imagine a world without cords, cables, wires, power lines. That'd be pretty nice. Yeah, great. So then why don't we do that? Well, first of all, we need to know, does it even work? So we just did an experiment to find out. Did you notice our Tesla coil sign in here? Yeah. Did it light up? Very good. Guess what? It does not have a power cord. I can light it up even if I wanted to. The only thing that makes it work is all the electricity coming from the Tesla coil. Wireless transfer of electricity. His idea was right. So then if it works, why don't we have Tesla coils all the time? Well, there's a couple of other problems. Did you notice the big purple stuff up there? Yeah, what did it remind you of? Lightning, right? Did it look safe? No. 1.5 million volts. Does that sound like a good idea to fly through the air? No, not really, right? Then how did I know it was safe to do in here? What's between us and all that electricity? The cage. Very good. Named after another famous scientist, Michael Faraday. He discovered if you have grounded metal between you and an electric discharge, that electricity will be attracted and hit that metal every time. It's a good thing to know, right? In fact, you came here in a Faraday cage today. Your car. Is your car made out of metal? Most of it, right? Is your car sitting on the ground? Yes. So if lightning was to strike your car, it's going to go through the metal into the ground, and you are perfectly safe inside. In fact, that is the second most safe place to be in a thunderstorm. So if you are trapped outside in a thunderstorm and can't get inside, at least get in your car. Now, that does not work if it is a convertible. It's also not the safest place to be in a tornado, so please just keep that in mind, especially on a day like today. So we talked about it, reminded you of lightning today, a little bit. But it's not made in the same way. There's a couple of big differences. First of all, this is alternating current. Lightning is direct current. And as I said, this is a transmitter, it's not a generator. That means it doesn't create electricity, it makes electricity bigger. It's actually plugged into the wall to a 440 outlet. That electricity flows through the primary coil and the secondary coil, which are made out of copper wire. Copper wire is really conductive, so every time that electricity goes around it, it gets more and more powerful until it's transformed to 1.5 million volts at the top. Now lightning is made totally differently. We're going to discover how it's made too. want to see this one more time? You know you do, right? All right, are we ready? Here we go. Down go the lights. Cover your ears. And cover your ears. And in 3, 2, 1. Called the Van de Graaff generator, invented by Robert Van de Graaff in 1929. Now what's going on is this red belt is going round and round across a metal brush inside of that ball. It's scraping off electrons, putting them on the top to give it a negative charge. Now what does that have to do about lightning? Well, let's think about it. Where do you find lightning? Where do you see lightning? In the sky? Yeah. In the clouds? Okay, so what's in a cloud? What are clouds made out of? Moisture, we got water droplets. Do you think clouds are clean all the time? No, wind picks up dust and dirt and pollen and all sorts of stuff. All this stuff and the water droplets are flying around up there, and sometimes they bump against each other. And if they bump and rub long enough, something starts to happen. Have you ever taken a balloon and rubbed it on your head? Yeah, did it make your hair look all kind of crazy? That was called static electricity. And that same static electricity builds up in those clouds and has a negative charge. Okay, so what's the opposite of negative? Positive. So if we have a negative charge up here, we have a positive charge down here. Opposites do what? Attract. So they're going to reach to the middle, and when they meet in the middle, you get a lightning bolt. So let's see if we can make that. Let's crank it up. Now, unfortunately, day like today, if there's going to be lightning outside, we probably won't get as much lightning inside. But let's give it a try. Figured, unfortunately, there's so much humidity in the air that it doesn't really want to do much. But we'll still be able to do my favorite trick with it, don't worry. Now when I need a volunteer, just keep your hand on the ball like this. As long as you do not let go, you won't have a problem. And don't worry, just because it's not giving a really good show, we'll still have some fun with it. So, even though it didn't seem to do a whole lot, I do still mean to discharge it. Because we did create a pretty good amount of energy, and it wants to go into the ground. Now, before I ask for a volunteer, if you have an insulin pump, pacemaker, defibrillator, any other electronic device operating organs inside your body, these do not come play with you. So, who wants to come give it a try? How about you right there? You raise your hand first. Yeah, come on. Speed matters. Okay, step right up, madam. What's your name? Lydia. Take your hand right here. And I want you to put your hand on the ball, just like this. And leave your hand there. Do not move, Miss Lydia. See what happens when we turn it on. Okay, can you shake your head like you're saying no for me? Take it harder, Lydia. Harder, harder, harder. More, more, more. Take a little more. Okay, now look in the mirror. It's only doing it a little bit. Can you see what your hair's doing? It's kind of standing up. When there's humidity, it weighs everything down. But that negative charge is traveling over her whole body. So we know opposites attract. What about two negatives? Do they attract? No, they push apart, right? So watch closely, Lydia. Let's see what happens if I take away that negative charge. Feel anything? Kind of tickle a little bit? No, not at all. Oh, there we go. See it waving a little bit. Feel a tiny little tickle? You're doing a really good job. All right, you can let go. Good job, Miss Lydia. All right. Now, at this point in the show, I am going to open up the doors to the rest of the museum. If you'd like to stay behind and feel the tick of electricity, we're going to let you do that. So thank you very much for joining me, guys. If you want to have your hair raised, or at least try to have your hair raised, just stay behind and we'll make a line. Thank you very much.